when you were talking about AI and the charting. So tell us a little bit about that,
Yeah.
because does that mean that I don't have to run back and make sure that you're covered and have to listen for you to call out the numbers? Is that what that means now? When you were talking about AI and the charting. So tell us a little bit about that,
Yeah.
because does that mean that I don't have to run back and make sure that you're covered and have to listen for you to call out the numbers? Is that what that means now?
Yeah. So there are a number of, I would say, digital charting assistants, let's call it, right? Whether that is voice charting, one of our favorites is Florida Probe. It's been around for a long time. And they continue to innovate, honestly, to make their product better, all the way up to some of the AI products that we have out now that are looking at radiographs, taking some of that information from radiographs and saving us time by doing things like auto charting, taking what's in the x-ray and then actually charting it in the patient's chart, so that as a hygienist with a new patient in particular, I don't have to sit there and, mark every crown and every filling. That's super time consuming. And there are other ways to document that, even with intraoral photographs or digital scans, things like that, so that we can capture that information in a much quicker way. But between all of this technology, I think there are some time savings. Now, obviously, with anything, there's going to be a learning curve, and a learning curve typically translates into more time, right? But once we invest the time, the goal is that we invest the time and then we're able to recover some time. And it also elevates our level of diagnosis and also elevates the patient's perception of us as a practice and what we're utilizing, for their care, that it's, state of the art. And
Oh,
patients
yeah.
appreciate that.
Oh, there's a total wow factor when you see the AI images. So I just want to clarify. So the images will be up on the screen. The AI will read the images and be able to extrapolate bone height and chart that according to their standards, right? And then you could go in and customize, which levels would be flagged as
Yes.
red or, and,
Yes.
basically you want to call out
Yes.
the perio disease.
That's right.
You mentioned the charting of restorations. Does it do that as well? That's amazing.
So I would say identifying the bone levels, showing the measurements of that, and the ability to customize what's going to be flagged. I feel like that's pretty standard across the AI platforms that we know now, right? The Pearl, Overjet, Denti AI. Yes, there is one in particular that I know of, the Denti AI, and the others may have something in the works. I just am not aware.
Sure.
So check with that. But yes, it can look at the radiographs and the restorations that are viewed on the radiographs and chart it into the actual existing charting. So that saves a lot of time.
What about soft tissue, though, like recession? But there has to be a check, right? So hygienists can't just go poof charting.
Right.
There has to be a check, right? Obviously,
absolutely.
restoration.
Yes,
I
we have to
guess maybe
verify.
until the recession, until we're able to see soft tissue, that for those of you that don't know, that doesn't show up on x-rays. The hard tissue shows up. So
That's
we
right.
still don't know gum height and all of that. So that still has to be manually looked at, but you're in the mouth. So of course you could do that.
Yes, and I asked a periodontist recently who is pretty involved in some technology development, because my guess is, we're using this metal stick as, the periodontal probe. And with all these other technologies, why hasn't that evolved? And, my prediction was within 5 or 10 years, we'll be able to have some type of technology scanning device that's going to be able to sound to the base of the pocket to where the attachment is compared to the gingival margin and be able to give us readings. The response I got from the periodontist was, yes, but it's not going to be able to detect inflammation. And inflammation is our primary sign. Like bleeding is primary sign of inflammation. Inflammation is what we're treating, and that determines our diagnosis with regards to gingivitis or periodontitis. But I think within 10 years there's going to be a dramatic change in that. There's already been some sensor type probes. Florida Probe has had an electronic probe for at least 20 years. And so working off of some of that technology or adding to something like that, perhaps some type of heat sensing technology or something that can detect inflammation or pathogens. I'm sure that type of technology is in development somewhere. And so I would expect within the next 5 to 10 years, we'll be seeing something like that. That's just a prediction.
Would you like to hear more? Follow the link for the full episode.